Hey there, this is Matt City. Welcome back to another review for the Dolph Lundgren Marathon. This time it is Army of One, a pretty fun, entertaining flick directed by Vic Armstrong. Now, Vic Armstrong was a stunt coordinator, a stunt man. Vic Armstrong is the guy who doubled Harrison Ford in the first three Indiana Jones films. So he's the guy who's in front of the Jeep as the thing is coming off, and he goes under the Jeep and is being dragged behind. I keep saying Jeep, I mean truck. He's in front of the truck, under the truck, being dragged behind the truck. That's Vic Armstrong. He also doubled him in Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. In fact, when Harrison Ford got hurt badly in Temple of Doom, they shot a lot of scenes with Vic Armstrong until Harrison Ford's back got better. Because at one point in that film, Harrison Ford's got back, his back got really fucked up. So Vic Armstrong really saved the day on that. Did a lot of scenes that Harrison Ford could not do. But again, he was a very famous stuntman, stunt coordinator, and this is one of the few films he got to direct. And he did a really good job. I wish he would have directed more films. The action scenes are very well done. There's an insane, and I mean insane, fantastic action set piece in this warehouse with these beautiful, fast cars. And it's totally an ode to John Woo. Even the director admits it. There's a funny story where he met John Woo and he said, "Man, I'm sorry that I stole from you." And apparently John Woo told him, "That's all right, Vic. I've been stealing from you for years." But it's this scene here where he's sliding, shooting people, but with shotguns, pistols, big bloody blood squibs. There's a moment where he's rolling on the floor backwards, shooting. Two pistol bang bang, like hard boiled type of an action scene, like the killer type of an action scene. He kills someone with a knife under the chin, or at least fucks up, and then the guy dies later by getting shot. He lights a guy on fire and then kicks him, and the real guy on fire that Dolph kicks after he lit the guy up, and then the body falls and to this gasoline tanks and big explosion. Just an amazing action sequence. And the other ones too are pretty good. It's a straightforward film. There's some good supporting actors. Ken Foray is at the very beginning from the original Dawn of the Dead. I always forget Ken Foray's in this. But it's cool to see him in that. He was also in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, among other movies, like Rob Zombie's Halloween and others. George Segal, a very talented older actor. He's in this film as a dirty cop, does a really good job in this. The other bad guy who's with them is a recognizable face, Bo Starr. If you've seen Halloween 4 and 5, he played Sheriff Meeker. So Bo Starr is in this film as one of the two villains. Also, Jeffrey Lewis, may he rest in peace. He was in Every Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can with Clint Eastwood. He was in Double Impact as the uncle of Jean-Claude Van Damme's character. Double Impact, great movie. I reviewed that on the channel when I did my Van Damme marathon. The lady, Kristian Alfonso, she's okay. She's probably one of the weaker actors in the film, but she's alright. I've seen much worse. I could deal with her. She's alright. Plus beautiful looking, and you get to see her naked, so she's not that bad. Again, I've seen much worse. Beautiful score by Joel Goldsmith, who is related to Jerry Goldsmith. I think he's one of the sons of the late Jerry Goldsmith. So Joel Goldsmith, definitely one of the strong points of the film is the score. There's a nice melody, atmosphere to it. It makes the film not feel cheap. Definitely makes the film feel like a bigger movie because of the score. And I know there was another title to this film called The Joshua Tree, which is on the Blu-ray. And I do have the Blu-ray in the other room. I don't watch that Blu-ray a lot. I mainly watch this cut. And you may go, what do you mean cut? Well, Vic Armstrong made the film, and when he made the film, I think being the producers or the company, I forget which, they wanted a couple changes to the ending. So they added a fight scene where Dolph is fighting our two main bad guys, George Segal and Bo Starr, is fighting these two people. And I thought that was a fun fight sequence, entertaining fight sequence that is not on the Blu-ray. There's a bonus feature that you can just watch separately, and you can watch that scene. But why not just have both cuts of the film? The other difference is in this cut, after everything, Dolph gets handcuffed, it cuts to a tree, the Joshua tree, end credits. The Joshua Tree cut has a little bit more extended, where you see that Dolph, he's not gonna be going back to jail and things of that nature. But it's just I prefer this cut because I like the extra fight scene, and yeah, he gets handcuffed, but the movie has told us that they have the evidence he's going to be okay, so I can put two and two together. So I don't really need the extended bit in the Joshua Tree. And again, the Joshua Tree Blu-ray cut doesn't have that cool fight scene, which is in this one. So, again, Stream Factory, you have movies where you put like 5 fucking cuts of the film on there. Like, I love Army of Darkness, but you have like 5 cuts of the film. You could put both cuts of this on the fucking Blu-ray. You have enough room. Come on now. Seriously. Or, take a poll. I would have preferred the Army of One cut. Plus, I think Army of One is a better title than the Joshua Tree. When I think of Joshua Tree, I think of U2 and their album and their songs. Army of One, I think, is a better title. It's a cooler title. It's a more badass title. So I'm going to watch Army of One. I'm going to watch the Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree? You don't watch a tree? No. Is it a U2? No. Is it a U2 concert film? No. It's a Dolph Lundgren film. What? I just prefer Army of One. So I prefer this title. I definitely prefer this cover as opposed to the Blu-ray cover, where it's just Dolph doing this. And then I prefer this cut. So the Blu-ray of Joshua Tree leaves a lot to be desired. This is why I'm only showing this one. But the film itself, Dolph Lundgren is with Ken Foree at the beginning of the film. They're driving this truck. They get stopped by a motorcycle cop. But then things go haywire. Ken Foree dies. Dolph is shot, goes to jail. He's framed for killing a cop. He didn't really do it, but people think he's a cop killer. So one thing leads to another. These guards are moving him from point A to point B. They stop. They decide to fuck with him. He escapes. Gets shot on the side. Really good blood squib. And that's another thing. This film has some beautiful blood squibs. Which they could do it for a film like this, but they can't do it in films nowadays. I don't understand that. I don't get it. Is it really that much cheaper? Really? Come on now. Put some fucking effort and money into that at least. And then Dolph, he's on the run. He kidnaps this lady. Later on, you find out this lady is a cop. And our two bad guys who are dirty cops, dirty detectives, like I said, George Segal and Bo Starr. The pros of the film, there's some nice sequences other than the action. Like there's a sequence where Dolph and the girl, they go see Ken Foree's family, and Ken Foree's widow helps him out, and Dolph talks to Ken Foree's kid and steers the kid because the kid's like, I want to be like you. And Dolph steers him and go, oh yeah, what day is Friday? What day is it? Friday. Oh yeah? Well, guess what? By Sunday, I'm going to be dead. Okay, you don't want to be like me. You got that? Your father died because I couldn't help him. Which is, not his, it wasn't his fault, but he's trying to get a message to Kim Foree's kid, and then he hugs the kid. I thought that was a nice scene. Dolph did a really good job acting in that sequence. When the action scenes happen, they're very well shot. There's a good usage of slow motion, very stylish, competent, no shaky cam, no quick cutting, even little bits where the lady cop is beating up Dolph and some other cops arrive and Dolph turns the shotgun and blows the TV up. and then he blows up the front part of a store and a police car with a shotgun. Some really good editing, nice practical squibs for all the destruction. Uh, One day leads to another. They go to a motel. Dolph has to go get information. He has to go help clear his name, maybe get this money that him and Kim Foray were owed. He lets the girl go, so he's not that bad of a guy. He's not putting her in danger. He lets her go, goes off on his own. He sees George Segal's woman, who's a bitch, to get info. Then he goes to this guy who I'm like, this guy looks familiar. This guy who runs this warehouse with all these fast cars. I'm like, oh, that's the convenience store owner in Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Who he's a guy who keeps fucking with Michael Douglas. And it's like, well, I won't have exact change, and he keeps telling Michael Douglas the price and pisses Michael Douglas off. I'm like, that's a convenience store guy. And I think I could be wrong, but I think he was the father of Data in the Goonies. I could be wrong, but I believe he was. He's he's a good actor. He does a nice job. And like I said, this action scene is insane. Total John Woo perfection. I mean, blood squib, sliding down, shooting people with shotgun. There's a point where he's under a car, shoots, blows a guy's legs off, like bloody legs just fall down to the ground. He's killing people with Uzis, like I said, knife to the chin, lights the guy on fire, kicks him, explosion, sliding the floor, big, huge blood squibs, bloody as fuck. Awesome stuff, man. You know, shotgun fun, puts the thing in the fast car, it drives, hits the other side of the warehouse where all these explosive material are at. Big, huge explosion, done for real, done practically. Definitely the creme de la creme scene of the movie. And okay, the movie does have a couple goof ups in the technical department. For example, there's a near the sometime during that sequence, he gets on this thing, goes up, is on a catwalk. He gets a six-shooter, yet fires like 8 shots. Because I'm like, okay, it looks like a six-shooter, 6 bullets, but it's like, pop, 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 pop. Like, it's 8 bullets. How they'll do the 8 bullets in a six-shooter? I mean, it's a tiny thing, but some people may notice. Also, later on, there's a sequence where Dolph is in a fast car, a red car, and then George Segal and Bo Star, they're in a fast car, a black car. And it's a pretty decent car chase through the desert in two very fast cars. And there's some nice aerial shots. But when one of the aerial shots has a shadow of a helicopter, there's no helicopters in the scene. There's no helicopters at all. There's no police choppers. So it's a shadow of the camera helicopter. Yeah, so that was a screw up on their part. I it's in one of the when they're racing through the desert in one of those aerial shots. If you watch closely, you see again like a shadow of a helicopter. Like, so and I'm not even the guy that looks for that stuff. I'm really bad when it comes to finding those technical mistakes. I'm the guy that just glosses over me, but I'm like, wait a minute. There's a couple of little mess ups, but I mean, the rest of the film is pretty fun. I can overlook that. I really can. If the movie wasn't fun or entertaining, um, I would complain about it more. George Segal is definitely a bad guy you want to hate. Kills this one innocent cop. Really nasty shot to the head, point blank range. Did a fairly bloody film. And the lady cop sees this, so she believes Dolph, and she's going to be a witness, but they don't believe her because she's a woman. Which makes me feel bad for the lady cop, for Kristian Alfonso. Christian. Christian or Christian? I'm not sure. One thing I will say about that Blu-ray that's nice, there's an interview with Dolph Lundgren, and there's an interview with Vic Armstrong, and I think his brother, Andy Armstrong, I believe. Wish there was more to that Blu-ray though. Again, that's a disappointing Blu-ray. You should have this cut of the film, because this one is in a standard version, formatted from his original to fit your screen. So I don't know, just one of those things that's annoying. But the two of them escape. You have another wonderful pyrotechnic sequence where he's driving this fast car, and I'm not sure what it is he blows up, but it's like 6 circular tubes very close to the ground, and they all blow up. So I don't know if they're gasoline. I don't know what they are really, but it's a beautiful sequence. Just real car going through right in the middle of all this stuff blowing up, which they would never do that nowadays, which is sad. Again, a little known film, which is sad it's so little known. Army of One has these really good action set pieces, yet you have a film like Skyscraper, which had like an over $100 million budget and it didn't have jack shit. Army of One could beat the shit out of Skyscraper with The Rock. Again, mixed in with some really nice music by Joel Goldsmith. Again, nice supporting cast, good villains, very competent direction. Dolph and the girl, they bond with each other, sex scene happens, they go through the desert, fast car, bad guys have a fast car, nice wide shots, so we understand the location, we understand the geography, we understand what's going on. Oh, another actor, I think it's Nick Chinland. He's a guy in Con Air who Nick Cage tells to put the body back in the box. That's Nick Chinland. He was also in a few episodes of The X-Files. He's a good character actor. He's in this too as a cop who tells Jeffrey Lewis about this camera footage that shows George Segal killing this cop. That's going to prove Dolph's innocence. They get to the finale, the showdown, and again, in this cut, it's better because you get an extended sequence where Dolph gets to use his martial arts and his fighting two guys at the same time, some nice roundhouse kicks, punches. I forget like the type of jab where you're like this, like bah, bah, like back of the hand. Bowstar breaks his neck, really satisfying. Beats the fuck out of George Segal. Really nice. When the fight starts, Dolph. They're on. I recognize the location when they reshot this, or additional photography, however you want to put it. It's that rock you always see in movies and TV shows. You remember the Star Trek episode with the Gorn and that famous rock? That's where they're at. It was also in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, where Bill and Ted gets pushed over by their robot evil doubles. It's in a lot of stuff, and that's the location they used there, which was fun. Adolf gets this sand and does this nice flip and throws it in both their faces. And again, very fun, satisfying fight scene, which, when you watch the Joshua Tree cut, it just makes the finale not as satisfying when that's not in there. So that's why the Joshua Tree cut I don't prefer. I definitely prefer this one. I wish this had got the Blu-ray. And again, Scream Factory, I'm going to keep harping on that. Why didn't you put this fucking thing on the Blu-ray in HD? Put both cuts in HD. You can fucking afford it. Don't waste fucking money on Garbage Pail Kids the movie or Mackie Me and fucking shit for Blu-ray space. So Scream Factory, Shelf Factory, whatever, fucked up on that. He say Street Factory, but Shelf Factory, I guess technically. So really, the only way you can get this cut is on DVD. Artisan. Bullshit. But the movie itself, like it's not much else to say. It's a fairly straightforward film. The auto shop, the warehouse action sequence is the standout. There's some nice slow motion gunshots. There's a nice fight at the end with Dolph taking on these two guys at the same time. Again, some nice punches, roundhouse kicks, takedowns. beautiful, gory blood squibs. Really solid score by Joel Goldsmith. The cast, even Kristian Alfonso. I don't want to be too harsh on her because she does fine. I've seen so much worse. Yeah, she's not great, but she's fine. I mean, I guess the only issue, other than maybe a handful of technical gaffes, maybe there's a little bit like 5 minutes or so that could be cut out to improve the pacing just a little bit more between the action scenes. Just a little bit more. Like, to be honest, I don't think you needed her and Dolph to fall in love and have a sex scene with each other. It could have just been she believes him, okay, I'll help you. You didn't really know. I mean, you didn't really need to go into a whole sexual thing. Don't get me wrong, part of me appreciates that because I get to see her naked in the shower and she's very sexy. So maybe I'll take that back actually. So nice body. So yeah, maybe I'll take that back. But I mean, there's a little bit like 5 minutes maybe to shorten the pacing a little bit. Other than that, I don't really have many problems with the film. I really don't. It's another solid Dolph Lundgren flick. It would be in my top 10 favorite Dolph Lundgren films. It would be in there. It wouldn't reach the top 5. I still put Showdown Low Tokyo, Ito and Peas, The Punisher, Universal Soldier. I'd probably put Men of War above this, which I'll get to that soon. Very soon. But easily in my top 10. If you're a Dolph Lundgren fan, this is easily worth a look. I mean, I guess if you have to, pick up the Joshua Tree Blu-ray, because they do, again, that fight scene is a bonus feature that you can watch by itself. But if you want this cut, you can, sadly, it's only on this DVD, which I don't know. I guess maybe if you find it on eBay or something. That's a nice little liner to it. A nice picture. But yeah, that's Army of One. Yeah, much better title than the Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree I just thought was a shitty title. Army of One just... And look how badass that cover is. Come on now. That's a badass cover for a pretty badass movie. So, good flick. Thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.